Welcome back everyone to Piney Plays the Lore Master. We are taking a little break here in Rivendell from our trip into the Misty Mountains. And I wish to report back into Glornglir. Hello there! I've been out in the Misties and I found these interesting fragments. Do you think you know anything about them?
How can I be of service?
You actually found relic fragments on the snow lurkers? I can hardly believe it, Pine Wolf. I suspected that such fragments would become entangled in the legs of the snow lurkers, but I had never observed that behavior myself. My musings have been proven true by your efforts. I am pleased as well that you collected these old fragments, but there is no shortage of these in Imladris, and I am more excited about my musings being correct. Ah, thank you. So,
Will you lend me your ear?
I guess you're not pleased about me hitting level 41 either. Well, congratulations, but once Master Delros hears that I was correct in my belief that pieces of pottery and other relics could be found entangled in the root-like legs of the snow lurkers of the Misty Mountains, he is certain to give me more interesting assignments. Yes, bring these relic fragments to him, Pine Wolf, and tell him from whence you retrieved them. Perhaps he will send you back to me with an invitation to examine the most precious artifacts in Imladris. I cannot wait to study them with my own eyes. You will find Master Delros within the library of Master Elrond's house. He has always been found there, deep in thought. All right. You want to study the most precious relics in Imladris with your own eyes, but you don't want to study these relics I just found with your own eyes. Okay, I'll have to remember that. But let's go to Elrond's library and see what the master has to say. Good day, Delaros. One of your students asked me to speak with you. You retrieved these relic fragments from snow lurkers in the Misty Mountains, you say? That is very interesting, Pine Wolf, and Glornglir is to be commended for thinking it possible. In one blow, the mountain passes are made safer for those who must travel them, and we collect pieces of our history for further study. A worthy accomplishment. And yet, I would ask you one question. Did Glornglir examine these fragments before she sent you to me? I thought not. This has always been her main fault, and it is the main reason I refuse to allow her access to the most interesting artifacts kept here. Glornglir is more concerned with boasting of her finds, with celebrating her accomplishments, than with examining the pieces she has uncovered. Until she learns to contemplate and appreciate the history of the pieces, she will never become a true scholar. Okay.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
Glornglir has not understood the significance of these fragments, Pine Wolf, but I do. These are shards from what must once have been a beautiful vase, crafted long ago by some lord of the Eldar. If you can retrieve more fragments of this vase, it will be possible to reassemble it. Its former glory might have been lost to the carelessness or of necessity, but history leads us to one certainty. Though broken, something once fair can be made beautiful once again with care and goodwill. Return to the source of the ruin and search the drifts for more fragments. The remaining pieces are sure to be the most jagged. Wherever you dig them out of the drifts yourself or rely on Glornglir's snow lurkers, I leave it to you. Be warned, however, that the chance of finding the remaining pieces will likely be quite low. Very well, I shall return to the snowdrifts and find these missing fragments. Let's see if this lurker has anything useful. Have any jagged fragments on your legs? Apparently, yes. And here's one of those snowdrifts that Delaros spoke of. Anything in here? Yep, more fragments. Hey, maybe this won't be such a tough assignment after. Goodbye. One final snowdrift, and I think that we could take these to Delaros and tell him that we were successful in finding these jagged fragments. Of course, I don't know if any of them have anything to do with that vase we saw before, but it's worth a shot. And I'm sure that Lurker is happy that I didn't have to kill it in order to get these fragments. Oh yes, and I still need to kill another bear in order to clear things out. Let's take care of that. 2 fragments with 1. No, that doesn't quite work. I managed to thin out those bears for you.
What do you need?
You have become a true foe of the savage bears that prowl in the mountains, Pine Wolf, and I'm glad of it. Every beast that is slain makes the wild country safer for those who must journey there. Except for the bears, of course. Now, let's see. Nothing in particular. Now that we've taken care of the bears, it is time for us to head out and retrieve those ingots. Then again, perhaps first we must deal with some of these evil men and post that sign. And of course, perhaps we can start getting some pages for our book. Not that this guy had any on hand, but he did have some signets and some mathams, which can be useful in getting reputation. Hey, do you have any book pages on you? Yeah, I know. Would he so happen to have any? Unlikely. But let's go and post that sign. Why they had a signpost prepared without a sign ready, I have no idea. But there it goes. One sign warning evil men. Now that that's complete, we can take care of those goblins and get that gold back. I have found the region where we can find the goblins, and apparently we also have a few wargs in the area. So I better deal with them while I am dealing with the goblins. My plan for the goblins is to head towards the goblin for the epic story, which means I better place that up there to go after the goblins in the goblin camp, and that should give me plenty of goblins. Now if I run into any goblins along the way there, I shall deal with them, as with any wargs that I may run into during the time. Because we've got this goblin camp all over the place. We also have wargs all over the place. And that should give me plenty of opportunity in order to find my ingots and finish this war quest while I'm working at it. But my main goal is to head into the main goblin area, and I'll most likely run into numerous goblins along the way there. There is my first piece of gold. Good. And hopefully there'll be 11 more soon afterwards. As long as I get 12 before I finish up with what I'm doing in there, all should be well. So if I can finish up these 2 quests when I get up to the top, then I won't have to worry about taking a dangerous road down. I could just port my way back and turn in the quests. And that should be more efficient, of course. Now the question is, where's my milestone set? Hopefully I set it to a reasonable... Actually, I think I did set it to the
to Glowing's camp, didn't I? Oh, here it is right here. That does not look like Glowing's camp. Ecod Candeleth! Oh, silly Pineleaf. Ecod Candeleth. That tells you why you need to update your milestone frequently. Probably was too used to playing a warden where I'd have a port to Rivendell, and with a port to Rivendell, why should I worry about how I get to Rivendell? Because I just use the class port. I think actually I did have one time where I had a warden where my milestone was set to Ecod Candeleth when I was getting ready to go to Eregion. So it was very convenient for that case. But other than that, it's a pretty silly place to have it. Especially if you're not playing a warden or a hunter. Anyway, I shall work my way up here, and eventually I hope to have plenty of gold. Oh, wait a moment. I found a missing page from the Book of Beasts during all that talking. See, I was so busy talking that I missed my first page. Ah, I found Gersmot. So let's deal with him and get out of here. Because I've got everything else I need in this area. Hey, what's a dwarf doing here? Actually, I got a better idea for you. Yeah, I should remember. Lore Master, Mez. Took care of Gersmot then. Now I have to take care of this Gobbles and Guard here. Good, that takes care of everything. Let me get out of here. Probably via Ecod Candeleth and Rivendell. If I'm in Rivendell, I might as well drop these off at Delaros. Here are the jagged fragments.
How can I be of service?
While you were away, Pine Wolf, I was able to partially reassemble the vase. It is a thing of beauty, even if incomplete. I wonder at its maker, and the circumstances that brought it to lie abandoned in pieces beneath the snow in the mountains. I see you have brought some jagged fragments back with you. I will see if any of them belong to this vase. All right, we'll see.
Stay a moment.
We have been very fortunate, Pine Wolf, for some of these fragments were indeed once part of this vase. I have repaired it as best I can, and the beauty it once had has returned in some measure. I have another task for you, though. There are tables throughout Rivendell on which pieces of art and history are sometimes placed for contemplation. Bring this vase to the table near Glorenglir. If she recognizes it as being the sum of the fragments you earlier uncovered for her, I shall agree to further her instruction as a scholar and give her leave to study some of the more valuable artifacts kept here at Imladris. If she does not recognize the vase, she will have received my final lesson. Place the vase on the table, observe her reactions, then return to me, and we will speak further. So that's her final exam. Testing to see whether or not she recognizes the vase. Considering that she didn't look at it all that much when I presented them to her, I don't give many odds on this matter. Here you go. That is an interesting vase, friend. Is it from Lord Elrond's collection? Yeah. Newly from his collection. Very recently acquired. Very recently. She asked me if it was from Elrond's collection.
How can I be of service?
It does not surprise me that Glorenglir failed to recognize the vase, even though she had some part in restoring it. I thank you for your assistance, and I hope the lesson of Glornglil will stay with you. Be not so eager to advance that you fail to experience the moment, in life and in all things. Alright, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. And do we have anything that's useful? Well, this is an improvement somewhat, and maybe somewhat. Alright, I'll take the hat and look at that later. For now, though, to Glowing's camp and to turn in some quests. Tag milestone. Yes. Hello, Glowing. I think we've got a problem.
No dawdling.
What? Dourhand dwarves with the goblins? Oh, yes. It's all coming together now. While you were away, one of my scouts reported something interesting. You see, the task given to me by King Dain was to track down the Dourhand's last refuge. The scouts seemed to have found it, as there were a large number of Dourhands around an old dwarf fortress called Gabalazan. But that wasn't all he found. As the scout watched from the high ridge, two figures rode up to the fortress. One was a dwarf. The other was a cloaked figure. At first, he didn't know what he was seeing, but when all the Dourhands stopped what they were doing and cheered, he knew the dwarf could only be one person, Skorgrim. Now, with what you've told me, the other figure with him must have been the Ringwraith. It would seem our two tasks are but one friend. Alright, and we've got a sword here that is not good for a lore master. Never mind on that. And so therefore I'll just take whatever gives me the most money.
Come and stay a moment, friend.
If we can but enter the fortress, we will end two problems with one fell stroke. By ending the threat of the rider, we can ensure Rivendell's safety. And by putting an end to Skorgrim, we will crush the Dourhands. However, it won't be easy, as the scout reported that the two entered the inner keep of the fortress. That keep is nearly impregnable. This is what you must do, Pinewolf. Every dwarf fortress has a secret entrance, and although I do not know the secret of Gabalazan, I know how to learn it. When the cornerstone of Gabalazan was laid down, a copy of the fortress's plans would have been stored within. Around that cornerstone, the fortress was built, and can now only be accessed by entering Gabalazan's vault. Once we have the plans, we will be able to learn the fortress's secret entrance. Gabalazan can be found in the more westerly of the two passes in the gate entrance to Eriador. Alright, fine. I will go to Gabalazan and look for the... Yeah. I'll go to Gabalazan and look for that cornerstone. Hello, Vikar. I have taken care of some wargs in the area.
What do you need?
I'm glad of your successful hunt. Alright, and I get some... a cloak. Apropos, I guess. And I also took care of that sign for you.
Greetings.
You've returned? I trust that you posted the sign? Good! I've got another.
Will you help me?
I need you to warn of evil dwarves near Gabalaz. Oh, I just happen to be getting ready to go in that area. I'll gladly post that sign for you. And what do you need me to do? I did have the gold ingots for you.
Greetings, traveler.
Ah, perfect! This should do it. And now I have all the ingots accounted for, and Hacky Gold Watcher will be happy to know that we have recovered the treasure mentioned in the records. Yes! What's this? Oh no, what's wrong now?
Greetings, traveler.
How can I miss this? There was a second page to the records. It describes a second strongbox. Hacky is not the kind of dwarf that you want to cross because he'll remember it and he'll write it down in one of his books and never let you forget how you let him down. If I don't get that second strong box, it wouldn't surprise me if someone found his records 400 years from now and thought badly of Lara Sharpshard. So, we'll got to find it, Pine Wolf. Let me just look at the paper. The dwarf keep among the high crag to the south as Gabilazan, yes. Go there, it's full of those good-for-nothing dour hands. You might want to take the furthest west past there. Yeah, I think I know where to go. Because next time we are heading to Gabilazan, where we are going to be finding some gold. We're going to be looking for a cornerstone. And, of course, we are going to be posting a sign in the next episode of Piney Plays, the Lore Master.